Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, veterans and patriots. Welcome to the Memorial Day Remembrance and Wreath Laying Ceremony. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to honor those heroes who gave the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our great country and contributing to our continued freedom. May they never be forgotten. At this time, it is a solemn occasion. Please refrain from any applause or cheering. I thank you. Please stand as you are able and render respect for the presentation of the American flag and remain standing for the national anthem led by the Barnesville High School Band. You may please be seated. We will now have the invocation by our chaplain, Steve Frosley, chaplain of the American Legion Post 153.
God bless our men in the air, on land, and sea. Full well we know how dear they are to thee. Where they go, wherever they may be there, God ever keep them in thy gracious care. God guard our men by night as well as day, for we at home for them will ever pray, that war and strife and enmity may cease, and thou wilt send us everlasting peace. God guard our men, will keep them ever near, make strong their faith and drive out all their fear. Give them a vision of thy saving love, that nothing in this world can ever move. God guard our men, and through just now they roam. Grant us our prayers and bring them safely home. God bless our foes and cause their eyes to see that peace, O Christ, may only come from thee. That's by Edward E. Sparrow.
Thank you, Chaplain Frosley. Representing Ward 3 of the City Council in Barnesville, I'd like to now welcome Tanya Stoka to bring greetings from the City of Barnesville.
Good morning. My name's Tanya, and on behalf of the Barnesville City Council and the City of Barnesville, we welcome you to this Memorial Day program. Today we pause to honor the brave men and women who gave everything for our freedom. Their sacrifices have shaped the very foundation of our nation, and we are forever grateful. Today we remember, reflecting on the courage, strength, and dedication that defines true heroes. Thank you to all who have served, my grandpa, my dad, my father-in-law, many uncles and cousins, and to those who continue to defend our freedom. And may we always remember that we are the home of the free because of the brave. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We will now have a musical selection by Katie Martin, America the Beautiful.
Oh, okay.
To fall for space.
Thank you so much. It is my honor to introduce our keynote speaker. Retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Richard Gabe has an impressive military career, and we are honored by his presence here today. He graduated from Pelican Rapids High School in 1968 and enlisted in the Air Force the following spring. He was awarded his Navigator Wings in 1978. Lieutenant Colonel Gabe flew airlift missions during Desert Storm, Desert Shield in 1991, and in 2003 flew combat airlift missions in Iraq and Afghanistan. He has been awarded multiple medals for his years of dedication in the armed forces. Please acknowledge Lieutenant Colonel Richard Gabe.
Thank you, John. Welcome, everybody, especially my fellow vets. Again, we gather here to honor the American soldiers, ordinary men and women who died in the service of their country. Men and women who, along with the President, who is Commander-in-Chief, we swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, even if it meant giving up their lives. Just a little bit of history. Memorial Day originally was called Decoration Day, as a day of remembrance for those who had died in our nation's service. Historically, this day has meant the beginning of summer, and thus a fitting tribute to the men and women who died in service to their country, the day that gives birth to a season filled with warmth and life. Memorial Day should not be a day of mourning, but a day of heartfelt appreciation. Even though there are many stories as to its actual beginnings, it is generally recognized that the first celebration was conducted in Waterloo, New York in 1866, shortly after the Civil War. Memorial Day was officially proclaimed on May 5th, 1868, by General of the Army John Logan, and first observed on May 30th, 1868, where flowers were placed on the graves of the Union and Confederate soldiers at Arlington Cemetery. Since then, every year our nation pays tribute to the lives of all service men and women who have fallen in the line of duty. The graves of countless cemeteries around the world remind us that freedom is not free. It does have a cost. Those resting there live supporting the lives and the values that create the backbone of our nation. There is a special heritage, a common bond with all who have served or serving now. Whether the lowly private or four-star general, you would see practiced the same values: loyalty, duty, respect, self-service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. Ordinary men and women rose to meet seemingly impossible odds and did extraordinary things. Since the Civil War, brave men and women left the safety of their homes to defeat tyrants, ensure justice, and fulfill the promise of safety and security for the citizens of our country and those around the world. 626, 361 plus did not come home, and sadly that number will continue to grow. Their lives were dedicated not to conflict or death, but to compassion and life. Remember, John 15:13, verse 13 says, "There is no greater love than this, that a man should lay down his life for his friends." The men and women who died, who we honor today, died protecting their comrades in arms while fighting for what is right. Even though we remember his famous words upon retirement, "Old soldiers never die, they just fade away," General MacArthur also said, "The soldier, above all people, prays for peace, for he must suffer and bear the deepest wounds and scars of war." Yes, the soldier of all people does not want to go to battle. But when duty calls, he or she will go knowingly they may not come back. We here in Barnesville have all been touched by the ultimate sacrifice. Sailors, Marines, soldiers, airmen have made in service to our country, and the suffering it has brought to mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, and friends. We also need to remember the families of the MIAs and our Gold Star families who lost loved ones to illness, injury, and combat. They stood strong through uncertainty and whose resilience, dedication, and commitment to the soldiers, Marines, sailors, and airmen continue to shine as beacons through the darkest hours for the rest of us. Today, I also ask you to remember and honor the missing as well. Our nation is committed to a principle. I will never leave a fallen comrade behind. And our nation continues its effort to locate, identify, and reparate those men and women who have not returned home. Today is more than a day to celebrate and honor those who gave their lives in service to our nation. We also need to take the opportunity to be willing to strengthen ourselves for what lies ahead. We are constantly reminded that we have been engaged in a long-term struggle against violent extremism. Our job is not done. Though we have been resilient in meeting the challenges of war, we must prepare for the challenges of the future. Unfortunately, in this world, terror will not rest. Violence will not sleep. Evil will not die. If we honor and remember those who have served and died, compassion will live, justice will win, and freedom will rule. I ask you to remember those who stand shoulder to shoulder against terror and oppression to carry freedom's torch around the world. Remember the soldiers, Marines, sailors, and airmen. Support their families. Never forget the missing. Rejoice in their lives. President John Kennedy said, "A nation reveals itself not only by the men it produces, but also by the men it honors, the men it remembers." We also need to add the women we produce and honor and remember. In parting, I ask of one thing for all of you. As you celebrate this day, please take a moment at 3 o'clock this afternoon to pause for a moment in your activities and remember and give thanks to all of those who gave the ultimate gift, their lives, defending this great nation of ours. Every day I ask you to remember those who support and defend the Constitution of this great nation. My most fervent hope is we as a nation don't have to etch any more names on memorials honoring those who gave the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. More than enough blood has been shed. Thank you again.
Thank you, Colonel Gabe. We certainly appreciate your presence here today. This next song is dedicated to the Gold Star siblings of Barnesville native Eugene Schindler, who lost his life in Vietnam. Like Private Malone, Eugene left his car in storage for his return home from the war, which is not meant to be. This recording of Riding with Private Malone, sung by David Ball, mirrors a tragic outcome for many soldiers who served in our nation's conflicts.
I was just out of the service, thumbing through the classifieds, when a night that said old Chevy somehow caught my eye. The lady didn't know the year or even if it ran, but I had that $1,000 in my hand. It was way back in the corner of this old ramshackle barn, with 30 years of dust and dirt on that green army tarp. And when I pulled the cover off, it took away my breath. What she called a Chevy was a '66 Corvette. And I felt a little guilty as I counted out the bills. What a thrill I got when I sat behind the wheel. I opened up the glove box and that's when I found the note. The date was 1966 and this is what he wrote. He said, my name is Private Andrew Malone, and if you're reading this, then I didn't make it home. But for every dream that shattered, another one comes true. This car was once a dream of mine, now it belongs to you. Though you may take her and make her your own, you'll always be riding with Private Malone. Well, it didn't take me long at all, I had her running good. I love to hear those horses thunder underneath her hood. I had her shining like a diamond and I'd put the rag top down. All the pretty girls would stop and stare as I drove her through town. The buttons on the radio didn't seem to work quite right, but it picked up that oldies show, especially late at night. I'd get the feeling sometimes if I turned real quick I'd see a soldier riding shotgun in the seat right next to me. It was a young man named Private Andrew Malone who fought for his country and never made it home. But for every dream that's shattered, another one comes true. This car was once a dream of his back when it was new. He told me to take her and make her my own. And I was proud to be riding with Private Malone. But one night it was raining hard, I took the curve too fast. I still don't remember much about that fiery crash. But someone said they thought they saw a soldier pull me out. They didn't get his name, but I know without a doubt it was a young man named Private Andrew Malone who fought for his country and never made it home. But for every dream that's shattered, another one comes true. This car was once a dream of his back when it was new. And I know I wouldn't be here if he hadn't tagged along. Oh, thank God I was riding with Private Malone.
We will now have the roll call for Barnesville's sons lost to war, followed by our area veterans that have passed away since this time last Memorial Day.
We'll start with World War I. Morris E. Masterson, John McGrath, John Tweeton, John Teskey, Henry Haberly, Frank Stahl, Arthur Kruger, William Schmidt, Albert Bolgreen, George First, Henry Popple, August Koenig, John Kragerud, Giles McDunn, Abraham Henry. World War II, Walter Hampton, Wilmer Fankanel, Martin Ludeman, Donald Cole, Robert Austin, Eugene Posh, Henry Tusky, Laverne Olson, Arthur Lansom, Charles Norby, Leonard Shaw. From Korea, Harkness Hazelwood, Lonnie Cranston. From Vietnam, James Hansen, Gary Lance, Eugene Schindler. Those that have deceased in the past year, William Bill Austin, Reginald Bach, Abel Abe Barrera, Orrin Berg, Curtis Butnoff, Lawrence Butnoff, Elvin Hansen, David Herbig, Robert Esog, Mark Cava, Richard Lass, Jay Leach, Jerome Jerry Logering, Morris Nicolai, Roger Purcell, and Carl Tassis.
Thank you, Steve. We will now have the wreath laying ceremony. Please rise if you're able. On this day, forever consecrated to our heroic dead, we are assembled once again to express sincere reverence. These graves represent the resting place of the many departed comrades who have served in our many wars. Wherever the bodies of a comrade lies, that ground is hallowed. Our presence here is a solemn commemoration of all these men and women, an expression of our tribute to their devotion to duty, to their courage, to their patriotism. By their service on land, on sea, and in the air, they have made us their debtors. For the flag of our nation still flies over a land of free people. We begin with the VFW commander.
In behalf of the United States of America, I place this symbol of our remembrance.
In memory of the heroic dead we have fallen in defense of the United States of America, I place this tribute of devotion and everlasting remembrance.
Could we next have the Legion Unit President?
I place this symbol of purity on this comrade's grave. May each future generation emulate the unselfish courage of all the men and women who fought for freedom.
And the VFW Auxiliary President?
On behalf of the Legion Auxiliaries and VFW Auxiliaries of the Veterans of Foreign War, I place this emblem of eternity. Its colors bespeak life everlasting. Thus do we memorialize the brave deeds of our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who have given their lives on land, on sea, and in the air.
In behalf of our glorious republic, for whose integrity our comrades enlisted and served, I place this emblem of the nation, the flag of our country, where theirs was theirs to defend. Its glorious colors shall wave over them in death, as in life, for everywhere to behold. This concludes our Memorial Day service for 2025. Thank you all for participating, and a special thanks to the Barnesville High School band members under the direction of Grace Tagan for giving up your first Monday morning in the school year, or after the school year, if I should say. We very much appreciate it. Everyone is now invited, after we leave this facility here, to the Barnesville Event Center, also known as the former Legion building, for luncheon provided by the American Legion, Unit 153. Thank you so much for your attendance today. Color Guard, retire colors. That concludes our service here today. Thank you all for being here. Please join us for lunch.